Okay, so we've all been there, right? You're sitting in a lecture, you are trying to pay attention, but your mind just drifts off. Well, today, we're going to talk about how to flip that script, how to turn that passive experience into a real, active learning session. Let's dive in.
I mean, really think about it. You're in your seat, the professor's talking a mile a minute, and you realize you have no idea what they just said. It feels like you're falling behind with every single word, and you're not even sure what you missed. Sound familiar?
You know, what's wild is just how common this is. This quote? This is from an actual student talking about what happens when a lecture gets boring. I gone to Dreamworld. It's so honest, so real, and I think we can all relate to that feeling. Look, it's not about a lack of effort, it's about a lack of strategy.
And that's the good news here. You don't need some magic wand to fix this. All you really need is a simple but really powerful strategy to kind of understand your own habits and then actively choose better ones.
And at the heart of this whole thing is a three-step self-reflection tool. It's designed to help you figure out what's going on in your own head, and more importantly, empower you to actually make a change.
The whole framework is just a simple three-step loop. First, you acknowledge. Be totally honest with yourself about what you usually do. Second, you analyze. Okay, so what are the real consequences of that? How does that actually work out for me? And third, you act. What's just one small thing I could do differently? See, this isn't about becoming the perfect student overnight. It's just about awareness and making small improvements.
All right, let's put this tool to the test. We're going to apply it to some of the most common challenges that students, that we all face during a lecture.
So let's start with the big one, distraction, the source of all those dream world moments. Step one is to just acknowledge it. Yep, I get distracted. So what does that actually look like?
It's almost never just one thing, is it? Yeah, sure, it's the noise from other students, but it's also that internal noise. Worrying about money or what's going on with your family or your grades. Or maybe you're just hungry or tired. These are real human things that just pull our focus away.
Okay, now for step two, analyze. What really happens when we let those distractions win? Our action feels passive. We just let our mind wander, but the result? That's active damage. We miss key info, our understanding gets all choppy, and we just end up creating this huge pile of stress for our future selves when it's time to study for the test.
And this brings us to step three, act. Instead of just giving in to distraction, we build a toolkit. And these are simple things. Sit up front, away from the chatter. Take notes. It keeps your hands and your mind busy. Or if a personal worry pops up, just make a mental note to deal with it after class. Seriously, these little shifts can make a huge difference.
Okay, let's tackle our next big challenge. You're in your seat, you're actually trying to pay attention this time, but the stuff itself is just completely confusing. You're lost.
The default action here feels like the right one, doesn't it? I'll just listen harder. I'll just focus and hope it clicks. But when we analyze this, we see it often leads to what you could call a confusion cycle. You only catch bits and pieces, you forget them almost immediately, and you feel so lost you can't even figure out what question to ask.
So what's a better action? Well, it's all about engagement. Try just jotting down quick notes of the parts you do understand and maybe put a question mark next to what you don't. Skimming the textbook before class is a game changer. And so important, don't be afraid to ask for help or just chat with a classmate after. I promise you are not the only one who's confused.
And this brings us to a key skill that really ties all of this together, note-taking. But I'm not talking about just passively writing stuff down. No, we're talking about upgrading your notes into a powerful tool for active learning.
I'm serious. Think about this for a second. Have you ever done it? It can be an incredibly eye-opening experience. You are both in the same room, listening to the exact same lecture, but what each of you captured on the page, it can be worlds apart.
For example, maybe you look at your notes and they're just these big, dense paragraphs. Then you look at your friends and they're using clear headings and bullet points. Or you realize you only wrote down things the professor literally said were important, while your classmate captured way more of the details and examples. Look, this isn't about judgment. It's about discovering new and maybe better ways to do things.
Ultimately, it all comes down to this single idea. The point of taking notes isn't just to record information. It's to create a tool that you can actually use later, to study for an exam, to write a paper, to do a project. If you look at your notes a week later and they don't make any sense, well, they're not really doing their job.
So, here's how to make your notes way more usable. Try to capture both the big ideas and the important little details. Then, and this is key, spend just 5 minutes right after class reviewing them while it's all still fresh in your mind.
Fill in any gaps and try writing one summary sentence at the bottom. I'm telling you, this little habit will lock that knowledge into your brain like nothing else.
Okay, we've covered a lot here, from understanding why you get distracted to totally revolutionizing your notes. But information is only useful if you actually act on it. So let's talk about your first step.
And please, remember this. The goal isn't to become the world's most perfect student tomorrow. It's just to make one small, intentional improvement. This is all about progress, not perfection. One tiny change is the start of a really powerful new habit.
So I'll leave you with this question to really think about. What is the one small change you are going to make in your very next class? Are you going to sit in the front row? Try writing that summary? Maybe just ask one question? Whatever it is, decide on it right now and go turn your next lecture into your first active learning win. Thanks for hanging out with me.